reach your home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 137, post-game Kentucky-Tennessee basketball game. And I'll just admit, Kentucky came into Thompson-Boling Arena and whipped up on the Big Orange. Ended up beating Tennessee today 70-55 as Tennessee falls to 15-6 on the season, 8-6 in the SEC play. And I'll just admit that watching that offense is like trying to pull teeth. It is maddening and very excruciating. But my name is Vols JP.
I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indy Kid.
Fellas, any kind of first right off the bat comments, thoughts on that? I'm not for sure. This team continues to just have no consistency whatsoever. It's up and down, win one, lose one, win two, lose two. This team just cannot find any consistency at all, especially during since SEC play started. I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in this basketball team. Nobody can create their shot. We don't have a point guard that can penetrate. We don't have an inside presence. This basketball team, if they're not firing up three-pointers and making them, and if they're not able to run, it is going to be a tough road to hoe. So, Dauber, what kind of comments you got starting out with this game?
Yeah, you hit on the offensive inconsistencies there. If this team's not making shots, then they're going to struggle. But I go back to the defense. Defensive side of the ball is this team's strong suit. And when they struggle defensively, it doesn't feed that offense. It doesn't get them going on the other end. And we saw this afternoon Kentucky. At one point, they late in the first half, they were shooting like 63%. Everything they're putting up was going in, and we just didn't seem like we wanted to be out there. There was a lack of effort defensively. We were getting killed on the boards. Mintz, I think, was 5 for 5 at one point in the first half from 3-point line. I mean, at some point, you if you're Rick Barnes, call a timeout and say, somebody guard that guy. Get a hand in his face, change his look, do something, because letting him fire up an open three, that wasn't working.
Yeah. What about you, Indy Kid? Any kind of opening comments? Tennessee falls to Kentucky today, 70-55.
I mean, Dauber pretty much summed it up. The shots weren't falling, but they're not guarding either. And I think, since they've kind of gone on this slide, the defense has gone down some. But, we kind of talked a little bit on here or before we went on about Barnes is not having a good – since SEC play started, Rick Barnes has not earned that paycheck that he's getting each day. And, players play, coaches coach and stuff. But, like you said, when they're on a roll like that, call a timeout, slow it down. I know coaches sometimes like to let players play out of it, but there's got to be a point in time you're saying we're not playing out of it at this point. But I don't know, man. It's aggravating. I mean, they had a good outing against South Carolina the other night, and then come in, crap the bed again today. Which I'll say the term we use every week. They're Jekyll and Hyde, and they lived up to it again today.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Let's see who all we got in here with us this afternoon. Talking about trying to make some kind of sense of what's going on with this basketball team. We got O'Donovan Milliken with us. He said Jaden Springer did not show up today, period. Yeah, rough outing for the young freshman, Mr. Springer, for sure. No doubt about it. We got Corey Braswell, says that poor shooting percentage strikes again. This team cannot win in the half court. If this team don't run, they aren't very good. Half court offense, I'm telling you, it is painful. Just so painful. I mean, here we are down, 15, 18 in the second half, and we're taking it all the way down to, shot clock buzzer going off, basically trying to get a shot up. It's just bad, but no inside presence either. Just not. I just don't think this is a very good basketball team. But we got William Poole with us. Yo, Memphis is in the house. Good to see you there, William. We got Lucas Sharp talking about the inconsistency. That seems to be a common thing with this basketball team. Then Rick Barnes has got Rick Barnes got to go in a few more years. I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on Barnes completely. So we got Will Myrtles. What was with Jaden today? I don't know. I think that probably the pressure that Kentucky's defense put up, but it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch for sure. And then Oreo Puppy Dog says we couldn't hit a barn with a shotgun. Yeah, that's the way this basketball team is. I mean, so many shots that just don't go in. But then just some bad shots too. I mean, how many shots today that we didn't even hardly draw iron, or it was too hard. That one drive that Keon Johnson had in the second half, it was a perfect opportunity, and he goes in and he absolutely just bricks it off the backboard. Just.
Did you catch what you said there, though? That one drive.
One drive. Yeah, I know.
How many times do we settle for a bad jump shot instead of driving the ball to the basket?
Yeah.
Let's see, David, how many threes did we hit? We went, and I had it pulled up here, 6 of 22 for 27%. So they did hit 6 today, but Kentucky only hit 7 out of 14. I swear it felt like they hit about 14 threes today. But
what's so disheartening about it is that Kentucky made 6 field goals in the entire second half. 6 field goals, and Tennessee
couldn't cut the lead.
Expanded their halftime lead.
Yeah. Looks like that Tennessee made 7 field goals in the second half. So, both of these teams are absolutely just obviously lighting it up in the second half. But no, Dauber, what you were talking about, first half was very, very, very disappointing for sure. I just didn't think that this team came out with the energy and, playing Kentucky at home. And I understand, the stands aren't full and all that, but it reminded me a lot of that Florida game early in the season, SEC play, when Tennessee, for whatever reason, they just didn't show the energy. And when you're down 15 points at half, yes, I know this team's made some comebacks before, but that's not a good way to try to win basketball games, certainly with that. So let me hit this super chat right quick before I miss it. We got Joel Sane, $5 super chat. He doesn't leave any kind of message, so he just wanted to give us $5. Joel.
Appreciate it, Joel.
We certainly appreciate it for sure. That was the question you answered there for Mr. David Mall, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6 out of 22.
He's giving me a hard time, Tooses. That's a story there with that. So, David was there today. I think he was on the 5th row. I thought I saw him there one time. So, David, I'm sad that the Vols didn't come through, and you having to drive back home after that loss for sure there today. Norman saying Victor Bailey was the best player today, made shots and played some. Yeah, two really good games in a row for Bailey. He'd been struggling. What was it there the other night during that South Carolina game? I think the announcer said that he'd made like 3.
I think he had five made baskets in the last 2 games before South Carolina.
Yeah, and he went off for 29, then followed it up today with 18. Tennessee scores 55 points today. If Bailey doesn't go for 18, does this team even hit 45 points? And that's the inconsistency that I see with this basketball team. They either score 80 points or they score 50 points. There is just I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think that we're so far into the season that I don't see this getting any better, though.
Yeah. One thing early in the year, we talked about missing Springer in those losses that we had, and it definitely showed. I think today we saw the absence of James. I think even though offensively he's not contributing, 18 points a night. I think he's averaging like 9 or 10 points, but I think just having him out there on the floor, I think he's a calming presence to both Keon and Jaden. I think he kind of helps manage the game, and he's probably the best rebounder on the team.
Oh yeah,
and that's something that again this afternoon we got. Do you have my?
I think it was 39 to 26 was the rebounds, I believe, or 39 to 27, Dauber.
So
was
yeah,
the rebound advantage.
Got
43, 31.
Oh really? Total?
Yep. Yep.
Well, my stats didn't update then, so
that's mine's circling right now. I can't figure that out. But I mean, if we're not going to rebound, if we're not hitting shots, then this is the team that you can expect to see. Like you said earlier, if this team isn't coming out lighting it up from three, without having a true Fireball hits it right there. When you don't have big man and you can't shoot the threes, then you're screwed. Play it undersized with Fulke, and for Pons, as athletic as he is, he's still not a typical post presence. So getting crushed on the boards and not hitting shots, that's not a good combination for any type of success.
No, it's certainly not. And let's talk about the lack of a big man. Who was the kid a couple of years ago that Barnes signed from over in South Carolina, and he ended up transferring out? Burns, yeah. But ever since Grant Williams, and Grant wasn't a typical big man either, but
right.
Played much bigger, obviously, and stuff like that. But that's one thing that Barnes is going to have to do a better job of as far as recruiting. Is he's going to have to get us some better post presence for sure.
Well, you look at what he's brought in so far. I mean, right now you got Fulkerson, who's he played pretty good against South Carolina, but besides that, he's been rough lately. He had another rough game today. Like I said, Pons is not your prototypical post guy, but then you look at, Kama comes in. He's kind of provided some decent minutes. Not much today. Let's see, he had 2 points and 2 rebounds right there. But they put up this big fight to get Euros eligible last year. Was it even worth it? And then Anasicki comes in. They were high. There was always positive. Oh, this guy's gonna come in, provide rebounds. Did he? He did. He did not even play today.
I was gonna say I don't think he got in the
Euros.
game.
No.
Euros.
Anasicki.
No, Anasicki didn't play today. And then you've got Anasicki didn't play. Euros didn't play. I mean, he never does hardly. And then Pember as well. That's your big guys they've recruited, and you're getting nothing, man. I mean, like you said, you had the Burns kid who I can't remember there was some kind of clash personalities or something there, but there's no big guys coming in next year either. I mean, you've got Kennedy Chandler, and then you've got the other guy who's more of a 2 to a 3 there. So I don't know if they're going to hit the trend. I seen there's a guy from Robert Morris. Yeah, he's 6'7". I mean, it's not a. So I mean, I don't get it right there in the post. Like you said, Grant Williams played big for his size, but he was 6'7" at the most probably, and then. I mean, Kyle Chandler did all right. Kyle Chandler was more of a 6'9", 6'10" guy.
But he played soft at times, too.
He did.
They don't
he wasn't consistent.
Alexander.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wasn't consistent.
They typically don't and haven't had anybody that can get down low and bang around with a true post player. And it hurts them at times.
Oh, it certainly does because, I mean, as far as trying to defend Tennessee, you really don't even have to worry about any kind of post. I mean, and Tennessee, their half court offense, whatever it is, basically consists of pretty much just throwing it around the perimeter and trying to find somebody open that can
run a weave and let somebody jack up a three.
A three, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, it is frustrating for sure. But this basketball team needs a true point guard, and they need a big man. And obviously, we're not going to get that this year. So I just don't know how far that this team can actually go.
Has that not always been? You think back Tennessee teams over the years, it's always been a point guard. I mean, even some of those Bruce Pearl teams that were real good, point guard away from it. That's always been the case right there. But I don't know, man. They need to develop some big guys right there. I would say let's chill the Fire Barnes stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, I will say this. Ever since Danny White's taken over, I don't know that Rick Barnes has made a real good impression with Danny White because they have not played good at all since he's taken over. And, it's not out of the realm of possibility that at some point, if Barnes don't pick it up, they could, but it, changes on down the line or something. And, maybe the thing with Rick Barnes may not be a guy that's going to win you a championship, but he's a guy that's got the program on solid footing. Sometimes that's, especially in our case, based on what we've gone over through the last few years. I mean, I want to win a championship as much as anybody else, but
but
it just may not happen. So,
but on the other hand, look at where the program is. Look at the type of talent that is coming into the program,
exactly.
And you're still seeing basically the same results.
Yep. Well, I mean, you saw better results with three-star guy. I mean, that whole team of guys with Grant and Bone and all of them were 3 stars. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody who was above a 3. Turner, Bowden.
Schofield was, I think, a 3 as well.
Yeah.
You're talking about guys that spent their time in the gym or in the weight room and played with a chip on their shoulder and played. And I think that's the thing about these Rick Barnes coach teams that make them so likable is the way they play together as a team. And I think you've seen that some this year, but not a whole lot. And I don't know if it's the dynamic of just having the younger guys in there playing so many minutes, but I mean, you're coming up on the final week of the season, or week and a half, I guess. They should be meshed. They should be playing as a unit right now. And I mean, heck, you're still flip flopping the starting lineup. So there's lots of questions, and we keep having more, it seems, exposed each game.
Yeah. Which I know not having James there today certainly hurt, but some of those lineups that Barnes rolled out there in the first half, I just didn't really understand. At one point, he had Gaines and Kamwa both in. Neither one of those guys are going to give you anything on the offensive end. And the team's already struggling offensively, and you have both of those guys in at the same time.
They're not looking to shoot. They're not looking to shoot or create at all.
No.
They'll receive a pass, and they're looking for the first person to send it right back to.
Yeah.
I think you're going, moving forward with it, because since these guys don't lose a year of eligibility, I think you got to look at some decisions after this year if you're Barnes. Some of these guys that are just tying up scholarships. I mean, I know Anasicki said he's coming back, but do you really want to tie that up? Right? A guy can't even get on the floor as a graduate transfer. I mean, Euros, Pember, these guys, I mean, obviously you can't even get grad transfers all around, but man, they need to hit on some big guys. Or so I don't know if there'll be any available here in this late signing period or not, but they need some grad transfers in a bad way. And I mean, the way Fulkerson's playing, what's he going to provide if he comes back playing like this? And And I still maintain Pons is gone. I think Springer and Keon are gone as well. I don't see any way either of those three come back.
Yeah, I was saying the other day, Tennessee's after that. I think it's Brandon Huntley Hatfield, I think's his name. He's actually a 2022 kid, but there is reports that he may look to reclassify. I think he's a 6'9" forward. So
That'd be big.
I think I think Rivals has him about the 14th overall recruit for the 2022 class. But there has been talk about the possibility of him maybe reclassifying. So should he commit to Tennessee and then he ends up reclassifying, that could certainly give this whole team a whole different look with if him and Chandler were coming in on the same year for sure.
Well, when they missed on the guy that ended up committing to Duke, top 5 player from out in Washington.
Oh, yeah.
They missed on him, and there was another
Pablo
guy.
Or something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like Bonchero or
yeah,
something.
Bonchero. Yeah.
And then there was another big Smith, I think was his name. I can't remember who he committed to, but
I think Auburn, which was
I was thinking it was Auburn.
Yeah,
Those two guys would have been huge right there
Yeah.
for him moving forward. But the good thing about that's the thing about Tennessee. Since they've got into conference, that's when they struggled. Outside of conference, man, they drilled everybody.
Yeah.
And even when Kansas, so that may be a good thing for them come tournament time right there. But like we said, it's a team. If they got their stuff together, could make a deep run. But if I was a betting man, I'm betting one and done on them.
The thing is,
for sure. Ain't no doubt about it, any kid.
You get the postseason play, you've got to stack games together, and that requires being consistent.
And there's zero consistency with this basketball team.
But there's not consistency from half to half.
I know. That's what that's what's frustrating with this team. It is. It's frustrating, and I don't know how much COVID and all that has played into this. I mean, you're seeing a lot of blue blood athletic basketball programs that this year struggling. Just not Kentucky, but Duke, North Carolina, Kansas. All those teams are struggling. So and most of those teams usually have a lot of influx of obviously freshmen that come in and are counted on. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I guess what's most disappointing about this basketball team to me, though, is the returners. Yes, I mean Pons has had some good games, but I mean he's been inconsistent as well. Same way with Fulkerson, very, very inconsistent. Vescovi's been inconsistent. We just haven't been able to get it together. This team just hasn't, and maybe that there's a chance that they could get hot, and they could all start playing on the same wavelength or something like that. But time is certainly running out for this basketball team to start gelling for sure.
Well, I mean that's like you just said there. You're talking about two guys that were on multiple preseason watch lists. They were picked preseason. I think both second team SEC players, and they've not played like it at all. I think teams they've basically taken Fulkerson out of the picture, and he's been pressing, and he's not been anywhere to the point of effectiveness that he was last year. And then even defensively, Pons, he's not the force that he was last year. Yeah, he's blocking shots and he's altering shots, but it's not even comparable and not what was expected leading into the season. We finally started to see the two freshmen kind of take off, and they've got their legs under them now, but they can't do it alone. You can't expect Springer or Johnson to, shoulder the whole team when two of the guys that you expected coming into the season are would they have 4 points today? Both of them.
Fulkerson, Springer had 4 each, and Vescovi had 2. I
Okay.
mean,
What about Pons?
Pons ended up with 10. So
10? Okay.
with that, but yeah, I mean, if we're sitting here and we're looking at stats, and Fulkerson with 4, and Springer with 4, and Vescovi with 2. If you told me that's how many points that they would have, I would have said, yeah, that Tennessee is going to struggle to score points that game and probably lose. We need 2 of those 3 to at least reach double figures because we just don't have anybody else that can consistently do it. So with that, but it's just the same old thing. It's the same thing over and over and over, up and down. But hopefully, maybe that they can find something. I saw that the game that was scheduled for earlier in the year against South Carolina, or excuse me, against Vanderbilt, has been rescheduled for Wednesday night.
It was scheduled, rescheduled for the 24th. They canceled it again and then rescheduled it back for the date it was rescheduled for. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. So it is on for Wednesday night.
Yes,
Okay.
they are traveling to Nashville Wednesday
night, 24th. Looks like that's a 9 p.m. tip on the SEC network. With all these cancelizations and reschedules and stuff, this app I use is not always the most consistent. So based on that, the regular season, I believe, is scheduled, correct me if I'm wrong, is scheduled to end next Saturday, correct? Against Auburn. But
I think it's 2 weeks, or am I wrong on that? Because I was thinking originally that they had like a week between games.
There's a week buffer, I think, that they built in before the conference tournament starts.
Okay.
In case they have other games that they need to try to shift around and whatnot.
Okay, so that first week of March, then they would have games, which the app that I'm on, this Yahoo app, doesn't have Tennessee playing either that Tuesday or Wednesday. So
I mean, I've actually read some stuff where if things, keep getting postponed, shifted around, there's been talk of some Mondays and Thursday games, if depending on teams and who has to play and all that.
Yeah, you're right about the last 2 scheduled. Yeah, next Saturday. That's right. So it looks like that, unless they build some games in, because I'd say about most of the teams have some makeups. I know Tennessee's still got South Carolina and Florida that they were supposed to make up with. So.
Yeah, and that's what I was looking at here. It looks like on Tuesday, March the 2nd, South Carolina's already scheduled to play Arkansas. And then Wednesday that week, Florida's scheduled to play Missouri. So I don't know what's going to happen. But they don't have this app, at least I've got on Yahoo, doesn't have Tennessee scheduled to play anybody those 2 days. So
they may be done next Saturday.
Yeah,
probably wouldn't be a bad thing, because I'm wondering, part of it, I think they might be a little beat up and stuff right now too. I mean, you got James, who was out today. I think something's wrong with Fulkerson. He can't be healthy. He's better than that, I believe. But I just wonder. I think the way Rick Barnes had talked, those freshmen are starting to get a little drained too. So, maybe they get a week off for a conference tournament or something. Maybe that would be a blessing in disguise for them.
Possibly so. Yeah. Especially be able to get them healed up some. I think that you probably hit on something there, Indy Kid. I do think this team is beat up. I think Fulkerson, that there's been something up with his wrist or hand the entire year. Now, whether or not that's the reason why that he's not had the season most of us expected, I'm not sure about that. But obviously James is hurt. Pons missed a game there. He still got that big old brace on his knee. He doesn't seem to be as explosive right now. So I think that you can probably say that there is some injuries that are going on with this basketball team. So yeah, maybe a week off to where that they could rest up and kind of heal up could possibly help them come SEC tournament time.
Well, I think another thing with Fulkerson is the scouting reports out on him. If teams are physical with him and hand check him, and I mean he's getting to where he can't even catch a pass and receive a pass. It's teams are being physical with him and they're playing tight defense on him, and he's passing up a lot of shots or opportunities to drive and get to the foul line. When that was kind of his go-to last year. That's how he emerged to have the success that he had last year, which led to him being picked second team All SEC preseason for this year. And then it's been he's had a handful of games that have been good, and then he's been rather quiet and a little disappointing, honestly, especially when talking a fifth-year senior leader on the team, and can't depend on him.
I think the disappointing thing was coming into the year, this was supposed to be a deep team.
Yeah.
And now you're barely playing 8 guys. And, it's I don't know what's happened, man, and maybe it's just a different breed of player. Maybe it's different type guys that's coming in. But, when Williams and Schofield, we saw development each year. Mm-hmm. And we continued seeing development after development. Last 2 years, man, we've not seen it. I can't, Fulkerson last year, obviously, down the stretch, he carried the team.
Absolutely.
But last year was a little more understandable because when they lost Lamonte Turner, that was huge. That was a huge loss. And Bowden never had it last year for whatever reason. But, he regressed right there. He was depending on Vescovi, who technically, really should have been a true freshman now, but we've just not seen it this year. And, maybe with Bailey, ever since he's got back in the starting lineup, he's been on fire. He's been the guy right there. But, you hit on it earlier, JP, the disappointments, these veterans. People's throwing off on Springer. Hell, man, he's carried them for the most part for the last couple of weeks, or he's been one of them. He's a true freshman. You got to think he's going to have an off game at some point. But these veterans and these guys who can't even get in the game that are post guys, what are they doing down there doing? It's just disappointing, the development or lack thereof.
Leading into the season, that's something JP and I talked about a lot, was how excited we were about the depth of this team and the athleticism of this team. But like you said, once you get down that bench, past the 7th, 8th guy, there is such a drop-off in the level of talent that, guys aren't getting in a game unless it's like the other night against South Carolina and you're up 20 points. You're not seeing Pember or Euros or anybody else get into the game unless it's mop-up duty. And with that, you're not developing anybody else. So what happens when Pons goes out, gets hurt? What happens when, we got 2 guys out for COVID? It's questionable. Some of the decisions that, and granted, there's not as much that comes out about basketball as there is football in terms of news and what goes on at practice and all that. But it's odd that we're not seeing some of these other guys take those steps, because when we do see those guys get on the floor, I think Pember had 2 or 4 points the other night, and he and the team on the bench, they were acting like he'd hit a game winner in the Final Four. It was like such a big deal, but
like he's a walk-on getting in there scoring or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, fellas. We'll see what ends up happening with this basketball team here to end the season, and see if this team can make a run. But right now, I want to share out. Just hit on our Talkin Vols merchandise on Bonfire. I want to show everybody the Mount Rushmore shirt. We got that for sale if anybody's interested in that. And then, of course, we got all of our traditional Talkin Vols. We got the mugs, got the little old Talkin Vols mugs. We got the hoodies, T-shirts. Then we got the basketballs, Talkin Vols, the retro look. I know that one's been a popular one for sure. So if anybody's interested in any of that, we certainly appreciate it. And check it out. And all of it's very, very comfortable, very good clothing. So if anybody's interested in that, you can check that out.
I know what we need to add in there. We need some Talkin Vols pint glasses.
Pint glasses, yeah. That'd be
that would be a hit because everybody that watches UT athletics is wanting to go to grab a pint glass a lot of the time. So those could be some big hits.
That's a good idea, Indy Kid. We may have to get old Boogie on that,
or like a Yeti tumbler.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
We got Joel saying that he's got his hoodie coming. We appreciate that, Joel. Certainly appreciate it for sure. With that, so next Wednesday night, Tennessee scheduled to take on Vanderbilt in Nashville at 9:00 tip. I doubt we'll be doing a show after that, considering it'll be at least 11 o'clock before the game's over with. Next Saturday, Tennessee scheduled to follow up, and what could be, we don't know for sure, the final regular season game against Auburn. And I'll just go ahead and admit it, this team is going to struggle against Auburn. I said it leading up to the LSU game last week that Tennessee would struggle against LSU. This team will struggle against Auburn.
Yep.
There is no doubt in my mind. And if this team doesn't make shots, Vanderbilt's not a given W for sure on Wednesday, for sure.
What? So I've kind of got my lineup, and if you guys put your five out there that you thought you open it up and let them go, who do you go with? Who do you think's the five guys you could – because I'm wondering kind of like the Houston Rockets did last year, if you don't just go small ball.
Yeah.
Five guards or you're using – maybe you use Pons, you use James, and then or maybe even James is your big guy and you go four guards.
Yeah.
I don't think it could hurt.
You look at the success that Alabama's had this year, running small and spreading it out and having five athletes out there to just outrun you. And I mean, that's kind of like a gimmicky offense in football, but heck, it's working for them right now. I don't know. I like seeing both Springer and Johnson in there at the same time. For
Why
sure.
not?
Bailey's got to be in the way he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why not try Springer, Johnson, Bailey, James whenever he's healthy, and Pons? I mean, try it and see.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like you said earlier, JP. There in the first half when Kentucky started pulling away, looked out and the five that were on the floor, I was like, man, you're giving up, two offensive positions now.
I know.
You got guys that aren't even going to look to make a shot, to create a shot. It's a wasted space on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you get from them, you give up with their lack of ability on the offensive end.
Yep. I think O'Donovan hit it there.
Yep.
Jaden, Keon, Bailey, Pons, and Josiah.
I think I would run with them, man. I'd run like hell with them, just like the old Nolan Richardson offenses at Arkansas. 40 minutes of hell right there. And, because they're going to have to get up and go. Like I said, that half-court offense they've got, it's stagnant. When they've really rolled, they're running and gunning right there. And, unless Fulkerson gets it in gear, I think Fulkerson comes off the bench. I think Vescovi has a place in there. Vescovi's not a point guard, though.
Yeah.
And the fact they keep, I like him. I think he provides some he is slow. He's not going to win you a race or anything by that means, but the guy can shoot. He didn't have a good game today, but I think for sure those 5 that Donovan and you guys mentioned, that's what you got to at least try it. What's it going? Because it gets Auburn next week. If you put some of these turtles in there, Auburn's going to they're going to speed race you, man.
Yep.
And we've seen it, that we've had trouble with Auburn about every time we played them when it's been Bruce Pearl versus Rick Barnes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
mean, the good thing though is I'm saying this trying to be positive, but I don't know. I mean, all it matters is how you're playing in March. Maybe they figure something out then, but I don't know.
I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in that for sure.
Les keeps mentioning Lady Vols. Awesome win by them against South Carolina. Not absolutely.
Yeah, down I think 16 in the third quarter and come back, and the refs weren't doing them any favors. They were playing against the Stripes as well. Had some big questionable calls made in that game, and that's one thing about officiating in the women's game. It's horrible. You think the officiating is bad in men's basketball? It's way worse in women's basketball.
I probably hadn't watched 5 Lady Vols quarters since Pat Summitt retired. So
I hadn't watched much of them either. I just don't know for no reason. I don't have anything against it, obviously.
I don't either.
I want them to do well, but
I just don't.
I watch them every once in a while. I caught the end of that game last night. I tell you, I broke down and purchased ESPN Plus yesterday to watch the baseball team. Saw them last night pick up their first win, Georgia Southern in the season opener. They're actually playing right now, so when we finish up, I'm going to go up and put that on and see how the baseballs are doing.
Yeah, I'll check. I've had the ESPN Plus I got it for UFC,
right?
Because a lot of those it's $4.99. It's a good value.
I didn't realize that they had done that though, because it used to be included with whatever cable service you had. Yeah, and now it's an extra that you have to add on.
Yeah, but it's a pretty good value though. I mean, because there's probably some FCS game or what is it? FC? I get them confused. Wofford, ETSU.
Right.
There's probably some of those games on there as well. But
Bucks are playing right now, or they were. Last time I checked, it's 14-0 second quarter. So
okay, cool.
I know ETSU's playing baseball right now. My buddy does the announcing for that, and he sent a picture of from the press box there and said game day. I said, they're
playing baseball up there.
Playing baseball, yeah.
Baseball and football home today.
I wish somebody would have let the boys in the Tommy Bowl know that there was game day, because they sure didn't show up.
No, we didn't.
I just don't see how you don't show up. And we've seen it with. I compare it with football just because these times you play a Florida or somebody and they just don't show up. Florida or Alabama. Same thing with Kentucky. I would think and you know what POs me too is Rick Barnes has not been wearing the orange blazer. I mean, seriously, where is that going to against Vanderbilt and Kentucky? That was a thing each year, and now all of a sudden Rick's just cool with the tracksuit over there.
I'll tell you what it is, and here's my theory, Indy Kid. These kids, they have no allegiance to the University of Tennessee. And it's the same thing in football. They're going to where they get a scholarship. They don't know the tradition. They don't know the history. I mean, heck, we talked about Big Al Wilson coming in to talk to the football team prior to the Kentucky game. If he can't get you fired up to play, if you don't know the history of Al Wilson, if you haven't seen the highlights of Al Wilson, he comes in and another guy, Inky. I mean, if you can't listen to this guy, you're talking about a guy who lost the use of his arm playing the game you're playing. and he comes and speaks to the team, and then they go out and perform the way they perform. It's just that kids today, they're going to the school, and we see it in football for a coach, not for the school, and they don't know the history, and I think that's what it is.
Well, it's maybe because of COVID, but normally you'd have guys like Bernard King come in, or Tony White, or somebody, and of course it makes a big difference when you got a raucous crowd there as well. But I mean, if you can bring them in by chance, I'm bringing in for Kentucky. I'm bringing in Bernard King, bringing Allen Houston. I don't know when he's been down there, but I mean, Allen Houston was awesome. Dale Ellis, hadn't heard anything about him in years. I don't know if he's still comes around down there or not, but I don't know, man. They need some
Lofton.
fire.
Even Chris Lofton, Marcus Hayslip. You got some guys in the league right now. Oh man, I'll tell you what. Ron Slay gets up for the Alabama or the Vanderbilt games. Being a guy from down in Middle Tennessee. Some of his tweets when they're it's Vandy week, they're priceless.
Oh yeah, Slay's a jewel.
Yeah. I mean, Tobias Harris. I mean, he's probably your top UT guy
in the
league right now. I mean, you got him and Grant that are kind of the main ones, but I don't know, man. They need some fire in them somehow, and I
was actually glad to see Johnson actually show some fire today. I mean, he was actually showing some energy there, and was a couple of bad calls. He got called for fouls, and he was at least taking it to the point he was like, man, this is he was out there trying.
Well, that's something you said.
Johnson was trying.
That's something you said all season, though, JP. This team lacks an alpha. They don't have a guy that is the guy, and it shows. It shows when you need that bucket or you need that stop on the defensive end. You can't say they're going to get it for me, because any of them have the potential to do it, but I don't know that you can count on anybody to just step up and do it.
I've said I've said it a few times when I've done the Blazer this year. I really think Victor Bailey has the makeup for it. But then they come up and say, well, he didn't play defense this time, so they pull him out of the game. And I don't know, man. I get so sick of hearing about defense when you're going to go on about defense, yet you're going to play Vescovi 36 minutes. I mean, like I said, I like him, but he can't guard his own shadow. And, but yet they're going to nitpick Victor Bailey. I think he's got that mentality of a guy who wants it right there. And I think a couple of freshmen do too. But, there's a lot of these guys that are too passive. And I thought that's been a problem all year long with them. Too passive, but, I don't know. I think it hurt today with James. I believe they've said it that James has kind of become the vocal leader down there. So I'm sure that provided a lot. But there's just a difference in body language from them. I mean, earlier in the year they were having fun. They had each other's backs and everything. You just don't see the same down there. I mean, maybe they're drained, maybe they're tired or what have you, but there's just a totally different body language now than there was earlier in the year. And maybe losing some games does that. But I think that's, I don't know. I can see Barnes being one of those that just beats them down, and because he's kind of old school a little bit,
right?
And stuff. And I'm not cracking on him for that. You got to do what you got to do right there. But they've just not responded well for the last. I mean, basically since we've gotten into the actual year. Yeah, absolutely. Ever since the Missouri game, when Alabama took it to them at home, something happened that day. They've not been the same since Alabama took it to them at home.
No, they were definitely sleepwalking, I thought, in the first half today for sure. Way too many easy run out baskets by Kentucky. Way too many easy points. Tennessee again sloppy with basketball at times. Out rebounded. Just overall bad game. But I wouldn't be shocked at all they come out and win by 20 Wednesday. That seems to be the way this team does, and then get blowed out next Saturday against Auburn. So with that, but
and it's on the road, so they have not been good on the road.
Yeah.
Vandy's on the road too, though. So that's
yeah. I think that's about going to wrap it up for episode number 137. As Tennessee falls today to Kentucky Wildcats in Thompson-Boling Arena, 70-55. Again, Tennessee falls to 15-6 on the season, 8-6 in SEC play. So, fellas, y'all have any kind of closing comments or anything?
I hope we can go down to Nashville and we see the good Tennessee basketball team rather than the one we saw this afternoon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd love to see him. I'll be honest. I know a lot of people love Bruce Pearl. I can't stand the guy. That have no love lost for him. I'd punch him in the face. That's what I think of him. I do not like to lose to him. So that's I would love to see him go down and beat him, but the guy is a heck of a coach.
Yep.
His style. Oh, we've all pretty much already said we're getting blown out next Saturday. So hopefully they'll prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong, right?
Yeah.
Prove us wrong. We appreciate everybody for tuning in today and tuning in as always. We certainly appreciate it. It was kind of a light crowd today, but afternoon game, Tennessee blowed out. So probably wasn't too many people that was interested in hanging out and talking about basketball, but we certainly appreciate all of y'all that showed up. Be sure, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to the Talkin VAWLS Network. That way that you'll get any kind of notification whenever we put anything out. And we'll certainly be doing some more basketball coming up. Again, probably won't do anything Wednesday night after the Vanderbilt game just due to the late tip. So I'll probably be looking at something next Saturday against Auburn, as I believe that is a noon tip, if I'm not mistaken, with that. But until then, for Dauber and Indy Kid, I'm Vols JP, and go Vols.
Soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we cross.